Portrait series. This is multiple photographs that capture a unique aspect of one or more person's character or personality. The unifying theme must be held together by a narrative thread, consistent photographic style, and or compelling environment with an obvious connection between the individuals being documented. In the caption block of the first image in a series, you must include a short overall story description at the top of the caption. Okay, up to 100 words. So you all have 21 of these to go through.
Okay.
We are going to go
Great.
look at all of them as a whole first, and then we will go through yays or nays. And if you want for captions, we'll keep them in. Again, Julia and Sarah, awesome job. Just saying. Or not, but we'll be fine.
Hmm.
That is all the projects.
Hmm.
All right.
Wow. A lot of
I-
good work in there.
I think what we'll do is we'll go through it again. Julia, if you'll read, but only to the point of the slide of the each image coming through. When Sarah is done showing that, you're done speaking, and we go on to the next one. And that way, if there's an overall out, you can say it, and then you all can say too if there's an in, you can. And if it needs to go, if you needed to go on to another round, that's fine. Just say in, and we'll keep it in again.
Hey, Linda, a quick questions.
Sure.
Is there has to be a common thread in these portrait to tie it together?
That capture a unique aspect of one or more person's character or personality. The unifying theme must be held together by a narrative thread, consistent photographic style, and or compelling environment with an obvious connection between them.
Okay.
Wait, I'm sorry, Miss Linda. Do you want me to read the photo description? I mean, the project description or the
Project
caption?
description. Yep.
Okay.
Just the project description. And if it's short, if there's only 3 pictures and you aren't done reading, you're done reading.
Sounds good.
That way we won't stay on long, but you guys then, while you're looking at the pictures again, we'll see what it is and you can say in or out. Does that work for you all? It's good. Thumbs up. Fantastic. If you hate it, tell me. Great.
Also, can you guys hear me all right with my mask on? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the project description for this one is: current socio-political environment in the United States has led to many African Americans to arm themselves. In fact, African Americans has the highest increase in new gun owners of any demographic, according to the National Shooting Sports Foundation. The goal is not to glorify gun ownership, but to show the hypocrisy within it and dismantle the negative stereotypes associated with African American gun owners. In the United States, gun ownership is a constitutional right. However, history shows us when African Americans assert these rights, they are infringed upon. This fact was witnessed in 1967.
I like the theme and cohesiveness of the message through this one, so I like it.
Perfect, Julia, by the way.
I like the idea. I just don't think it was executed very well. But
I agree, but the message and then the cohesive, it's just I just love the ideas, and
okay,
hopefully it lasts, because I
I'll
do
say
like the
in. I'll say in for now. Support Mr. Tay.
I say in.
And for me.
This one is: they are twins and best friends. They are often mistaken for each other, and sometimes they deceive others. Some of them have struggled through childhood. Others have not been apart for more than 3 days. Some have pain in the same knee. Others claim to have telepathic ability.
Oh,
Yeah, it's an out for me too.
There's some real funky photos. Like right here, it gets a little interesting.
yeah.
Last two, but that you're right. It's not. Doesn't rise to the level.
Yeah, photographically, I don't think it came.
Yeah.
The style just changes too much.
This one is in May 2020, during the midst of a global pandemic, young activists led, organized, or demonstrated in Black Lives Matter protests around the San Francisco Bay Area in memory of George Floyd, an unarmed Black man killed by now former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. Many people watched video footage of Chauvin kneeling for more than 9 minutes on Floyd's neck, despite his pleas for help. In frustration and anger, activists broke quarantine to march in the streets to publicly mourn for a man they never met and to demand an end to police brutality against Black and brown bodies. Nearly a year following Floyd's death, Chauvin was found guilty of murder, leaving people to wonder if justice was truly served.
That's an out for me.
Oh,
It's an out for me too. I feel like the message, of course, is strong, but like the photos and the message, it doesn't add up.
Someone on our staff did this and they did it 10 times better. But I wonder why that person did not enter it into this contest.
I agree. The
Out.
message is powerful, but the imagery, it's just sort of like all over the places, and the story are so different, from one photo to the next. So I do agree, it's out.
They have sat at segregated lunch counters and stood in picket lines. They have marched on Washington and for Black Lives Matter. They have organized protests that created enduring legacies, and they have held forgotten histories up to the light. San Francisco Bay Area Black elders share stories of the past, offer visions for the future, and reflect on being Black in America.
I like this series.
Me too. I want to see more.
Yeah,
Mhm. That's what I want to see more images from this.
that's a good
Summer.
reaction.
and I feel like 2 or 3 really work, and then the others don't work. So I'd like to see, like, I love the idea, but
Mhm.
reminds, yeah, it's just, man,
The
it's important to grab the history.
Yeah, I wish I see more images. The only images I do not care for was the flower pictures, but I think that kind of threw me off. But I do like the way how the photographer approach to the subject and to the topics. And I wish there are more. What do you guys think? Set in or out?
I would say in.
And for now,
Okay,
We'll keep it in.
I could keep it
let's
in.
keep it in.
It reminds me a little of Brian Lanker's pictures.
Yes.
One is, what is a sexual assault and what are its consequences? We focus on this question by letting several women tell their stories about being raped and sexually assaulted. Regardless of the character of the assault, the women are left with similar emotions. Emotions they can't shake off easily. Emotions they must live with and which may take years to process. We return to the locations where the assaults took place and collaboratively produce photos that tell stories about the consequences of sexual assault. The women react to and describe the photos in their own words. Their names have been altered to protect their anonymity. My inspiration. I was inspired to do this project when I was assigned to photograph a woman who had been raped on a Tinder date.
Yeah, that's an in for me.
Wow. It's
that's
in
in.
for me.
Yeah, in definitely.
Very
I
powerful.
since it was
Very.
something like that, with the one with
Yeah.
the in the headlights, that's when I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of these pictures are really powerful.
Yeah. How you convince them even to on board with the story is so amazing,
And go back to like where the
That's
assault.
where it happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
This
And then
is-
the photographer had a real vision, they were like,
Yeah.
we're gonna light it like this.
Mhm.
And then I love the hair over the faces.
yeah.
Like it was very well thought out.
Mhm.
It's good.
The countryside in many West African countries abounds with the mines artisanales, a small-scale gold mines that operate without license. The practice is largely tolerated, but has come under increased scrutiny in recent years as gold mined by these methods have become primary funding source for jihadist groups participating in an escalating insurgency in the tri-border area between Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. The work in the mining operations is hazardous and safety precautions are lax. Many of the workers are under the age of 18. Cyanide and liquid mercury, both highly toxic, are critical components in the purification process.
I like it. for now at least. I think there's some really powerful images in here. But then at the same time, I want more. Like I want it better.
You know, I get the mixed feelings on this one. You know, the story or the approach kind of threw me off here and there, but the story behind that is good. But, I can keep it in for me at least.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna last. But
Yeah, I think it's an out.
2
It
ins,
just-
1 out. D.
I think it's too all over. For me, the visual style and the approach, just it's catch as catch can, which is understandable in the circumstances. He or she may have had some time, not that much time.
is it gonna stand up
Out,
against the
yeah.
rest of the work?
It's out to me.
What do you think,
There's
D?
a few.
It's an in for me for now, and I want to see it up against the other work.
Okay, go on.
From Kentucky, a careful observer can squint beyond the banks of the Ohio River and spot the village of Ripley, Ohio. Nearly 200 years ago, freedom seekers traveling on the Underground Railroad would look to that village, beckoning them across. It was a beacon of hope for a world without the perils of slavery. Experts estimate that Ohio had about 3,000 miles of routes on the railroad, almost all of which crossed the Ohio River. Ripley, a major point on the railroad, stands out.
Yeah, it's an out for me.
It's out.
I think it needed landscapes, to be honest.
Yeah. Mhm.
You need to see the place. I like a few of some of the portraits are beautiful, but you needed to do the landscapes to understand the story and mix it up.
Yeah, I think they need a thread in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's out.
Sounds like it out.
Yeah.
When a mob attacked the US Capitol on January 6, 2021, the world watched as the rioters entered the building, breaking windows and pushing through barriers. But it was more than just physical space that was violated. The seat of government was occupied by hundreds of lawmakers and their aides, building staff members, and journalists who say they continue to process the trauma of the day. To tell their stories, Frank Thorpe V, a producer and self-taught still photographer who has covered, oh, that's his name.
Woo, guess what?
Hmm.
We've just, we now have to disqualify this one.
It
Yep,
was
that's his name.
I wasn't gonna vote. Okay.
It's out.
It's out.
All right, this one is at
Look, see
Central.
how quick that is? Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, why'd you put your name in the description? Anyway, at Central Romana, a Dominican Republic's largest sugar producer, laborers worked 12-hour days and lived with their families in company housing without electricity and potable water. In 2016, the company sent armed guards and bulldozers to evict 60 families from makeshift houses built on the dusty edge of a sugar plantation in El Sabo, one of the poorest and most remote corners of the Dominican Republic. Human rights advocates and representatives of the United Nations have criticized the operation. Human rights advocates had for many years publicly protested the mistreatment of sugar workers at Central Romana.
good job, Julia.
Thanks. I'm starting to get a little tongue-tied here.
Yeah, no, like that happens to me too. Like reading, and I'm like, you know what? It's time for me to not. It's an in for me for now. Yeah, it's very interesting portraits and a very
That first image is really strong. It's like if that was in portrait personality, I probably would have voted for that. The story's interesting.
All right, we're keeping it in and on to the next one.
This one has no description.
Oh, okay.
I can't tell what the story is. I'm sorry.
feel like it's people that live in one place, but why they all live
Yeah.
there, I don't know.
That's a-
I would be an out for me.
Yeah, we kind of. I'd put an out. I wish we had the. I don't think it stands up to the other ones visually
Yeah.
either. So out.
It's a out. They do have the same shelving. Look,
Hmm.
it's weird. I want to know where are they with the
Yeah.
same
I
thing.
would say Alaska or maybe near a Indian territory.
Hmm.
This one is Kurdistan, an anonymous region in Iraq, is one of the most contaminated countries by landmines and explosive remnants of war, according to a report by Relief Web, a humanitarian information service provided by the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. These are portraits of a few of the nation's landmine survivors who were injured by the many explosives still in the region.
So it's like top and then bottom, their face and then their
Yeah.
body.
Hmm. I don't know. It's a out for me.
Yeah,
I'm
I
out
guess
on
it
that.
out.
That's 3 outs.
This one has no description.
That is tough.
Mhm.
I like how he's looking at
Is
them.
it?
Yeah.
There's no caption or anything like.
The images themselves have captions, but there's no
Okay.
project description.
Yeah, this
Okay.
feels like maybe Haiti. I shouldn't
Yeah.
guess. Should I guess? Should I not guess, Linda? Should I just keep that to
It
myself?
looks like that to me too.
You can guess, and then we'll go on, and if we'll go into
Earthquake.
we'll go into the pictures themselves for a. It's interesting. Wait a minute.
That was a beautiful.
Yeah, it's a bit of an
You
out.
must see. Here's my problem. Where I'm going to tell you as the chair. In the caption block of the first image in a series, you must include a short overall story description.
Again, we'll stick to the rules, Linda. I'm out.
So, if there is a story description in the first one at all, Julia?
Yes. Should I read it?
Yes, please.
Okay, it says a magnitude 7.2 earthquake destroyed many buildings and homes in the southwest region of Haiti, killing over 2,000 people and leaving many homeless and searching for food. This portrait series shows some of the victims affected by the earth's tremor.
Okay, let me go back. I'll stop you on this. Let's go back to the Alaska one and see if there's one in that first one, just to be fair.
Okay.
I'm sorry to have you go through this again, but it just to be fair, let's make sure that first picture had right there above. Yep.
It has one.
Okay, why don't you read that?
Okay.
Let's be fair.
When it opened in 2011, Carluck Manor was Anchorage's first permanent housing for chronically homeless alcoholics. It was also Alaska's first project to implement housing first, a philosophy that holds people need a stable and secure place to live before they can change their lives. The plan was controversial and met resistance from the neighborhood. A decade later, Carluck Manor quietly lives on. As Anchorage debates homeless policy changes, this series takes a look at the people served by its facility and how they feel it has impacted their lives.
Okay. Does that change anything for you all?
No, I think
No.
there's some great images, 1 or 2 in there, but overall as a series, I don't feel like it stands up.
Okay, so let's go back to the Haiti one, and you'll say in or out on that one, and we'll continue on from there.
The end for me for now.
It's an
I
N-
vote out.
It's out for me.
it's N for me.
In, all right, we're gonna keep it in.
As part of the Philadelphia Inquirer's Wildest Dreams anthology, I set out to talk with Black Philadelphians about legacy and identity. In 3 Philadelphia parks, I photographed people with varied experiences and cultural upbringings. We posed the same question to everyone. What did you learn from your family about your Blackness? With this portrait series, I included a snippet of those conversations in their own words. All portraits were made with a Mamiya C330. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong.
That was correct.
Oh, cool.
You did great.
It's a no for me.
You know, I'm kind of confused and set up the backdrop on location and they keep back and forth. So I would prefer to keep it the same consistency of that theme throughout. But it's a no for me.
Yeah, I think it's inconsistent. I actually like the pictures where you can see the backdrop the most.
Me too.
You know, where it's sort of like off kilter.
Yeah, give me a sense of places too.
Yeah. I like those ones to me hold up best. So but yeah, almost.
Is that an out then for you, John?
Yeah, I think it's an out.
All right, we're out.
At the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, we were told the virus would only make people ill for about 2 weeks. But for many survivors, the first 2 weeks were just the beginning, including the young and people with no known comorbidities or pre-existing health conditions. Their symptoms lingered for weeks and then months, yet they are not counted in the official statistics. They are not deceased, but they are not fully recovered. They are stuck in the gray void in the middle, for some seemingly indefinitely, with symptoms that range from minor to life-altering. Some can't rely on their bodies to show up for their jobs from 9 to 5, so they've cut down to part-time. Some physically can't go back to work at all. Some live in constant pain.
It's an out for me. This one had to be more like, oh, what happened? Sorry. Linda?
No, sorry, I'm counting.
Oh, to me, it's an out. Like I would love to see what long COVID is like to actually live with, and I don't get that from these portraits. A couple of them I think are really nice, but I don't get any of that from the images.
I agree, John. It's an out for me. The consistency and the quality of the work still it lacks.
Yeah, I agree. I was looking for a thread or the something that tie all of these images together, but I didn't see one, so it's out for me.
All right, we're out.
Since April 2020, I have been documenting the lives of Bay Area people, mostly unhoused, trying to deal with the shelter crisis during the COVID-19 pandemic. The initial shutdown and eviction moratoriums made for a lull that helped those on the outside stabilize their lives somewhat as long as they could remain healthy, but the normalizing of this past year has seen a rapid return to the sweeps and dislocation.
Man, this is such an important story, and it's so inconsistently told.
Yeah.
There's some beautiful pictures in there, but I can't totally tie it together.
Yeah, and some of them is that a portrait? Like, I'm trying to figure it out. And like, would have worked better as a photo story.
Yeah, it's a really important story. I'd like to see more. I think actually the moment-driven pictures are, for me, the most powerful here. But there's some. I mean, it's quirky and interesting, but man, I want it to hold together better.
Yeah.
Because I think this
Do you
story is
want to
happening
keep
everywhere.
it to compare, or do you want to get rid of it?
I'm an out on it, but maybe keep it because it's kind of quirky and interesting.
I think it's worth it to have a second look. I do agree that the topic is great, but I'm so baffled with the approach. So
Yeah.
Lee, what do you think?
It's an out for me.
And Kimberly, what do you think?
I'll keep it in for now.
That's 2 and 2. We'll keep it in.
It's just really weird for a portrait series. Some of the pictures are like scratch your head.
The first give me a second. Nagorno-Karabakh. All right. The first Nagorno-Karabakh war displaced more than 1 million people in the southern,
Julia,
Caucasus. Man, lots of big words that I have never seen before. Caucasus. I'm going to go with that. After the second, Caucasus?
Yeah.
Thank you. Caucasus. All right, let's start over. The first Nagorno-Karabakh war displaced more than 1 million people in the southern Caucasus. After the second one, is there still anything for them to return to?
that's a strong one. That I wanted more.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel cheated now.
I thought I saw a series of these portraits a few years back, and it was so wonderful. Yeah, I don't think we have enough images in here to carry the story, though.
Yeah, there's a very popular story in Europe to go do, but I do agree. It's again, like, I think sometimes people are thinking, oh, I only can put in my portraits, but maybe a portrait of the land, because that's such an important part of the story, would have been helpful.
I think that's 3 outs. We'll go to the next.
A political conflict between Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and Tigray's ruling party, the Tigray People's Liberation Front, exploded into war and a grave humanitarian crisis after the TPLF attached an Ethiopian government military base on November 3rd, 2020. The Ethiopian government launched an extensive military offense the next day. With Abiy's encouragement, Eritrean forces invaded Tigray from the north, and militias from the Amhara ethnic group poured in from the south to help fight Abiy's war against Tigrayan forces. Since then,
I want to know about if you don't mind finishing that.
yeah. Since then, the toll of the ongoing war in Tigray has been devastating, though the Ethiopian government has managed a near complete media blackout in the region, shutting internet and banning journalists from covering the humanitarian crisis and grave human rights abuses. Reports of atrocities are rampant, including mass rapes, executions, the international bombardment of civilians, and the flagrant looting of hospitals and health clinics. All sides, including the TPLF, have been accused of war crimes, but Eritreans have been blamed for the worst abuses. There's still more. Should I keep going?
Nope.
Okay.
I just feel like if you're going to do this portrait series and you're going to focus on just the women in the community, there should be some kind of focus on that in your caption or your description.
It does go to that, but at the very bottom.
Yeah, just about hate crimes or rape that happened. And I'm sure this is what these women are talking about. It's powerful. I would say in. But I just feel like, I don't know.
I mean, the image themselves are powerful. The message is not there, but I think it's worth keep it for now.
Why focus on the women? Like, make that the beginning of your description. Why you're doing this, why you're doing a portrait series on the women, and why are they crying? But yeah, the pictures, the portraits are very powerful.
Yeah, there's a few that there's some powerful. We keep it in, I think.
All right, and it is next.
In early 2020, when the coronavirus began making it difficult for many people around the world to breathe, hospitals became a central front against a disease that, more than a year later, has killed nearly 4 million human beings and counting. At one hospital in Mission Viejo, California, a team of nurses and doctors were recruited for what became the Isolation Intensive Care Unit. Many volunteers at Providence Mission Hospital had come from cardiac and surgical intensive care units, where they deal with death and trauma each day. Launched in March 2020, the isolation unit would come to be known as tip of the spear, a military term used to describe a group doing dangerous work. Many nurses who would spend
She didn't mute. It's okay. Thanks, Kimberly. All right, so in or out?
It's in for me.
That's an in for me too.
And it is.
Really great work.
In.
Okay. Next.
Sometimes their words tumble out like the frantic beating of wings. The tears often flow, but now and then an eye flashes with a glint of determination. 2 months after the Taliban takeover of their country, Afghan women and girls inhabit a world transformed. Their freedoms and expectations many have come to prize are vanishing as the militant group's return to power after 2 decades has stirred profound sorrow over losses that may prove irredeemable. A generation of Afghan girls grew up having never known the lash of Taliban rule. The fundamentalist movement was toppled in the US. That invasion.
It's an in for me. These portraits, this is deep.
Mhm.
Great work.
And
I really, and I really like, but I have to say, like, I wish they had kept it consistent. There's one, two, like number two, there's like 4 that are really give you a sense of being kind of kept inside, and the tighter ones don't work for me, but I like it in for sure.
Mhm.
3 months before the Taliban's shockingly swift blitz of Kabul, things were much different for the Afghanistan National Institute of Music. In its wood-paneled rehearsal hall, the school was home to the Zora Orchestra, the country's world-renowned all-female group. The ensemble, which has since become an international symbol of hope, would assemble to prepare a repertoire of traditional Afghan and Western classical music for concert tours that had once taken them to Carnegie Hall, the Kennedy Center, and the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Zora was founded in 2015 to provide educational opportunities in music to girls from disadvantaged backgrounds. Visitors strolling through the institute may have heard 18-year-olds playing the opening lines of a violin concerto.
Yeah, that's a nice story, but it's an out for me. The photos just for me aren't that striking. It's not that strong. Yeah. Some of the instruments were cut off.
it's too tight.
Yeah. And I'm not a big fan of some of the images. I feel like should have been horizontal, but they made it vertical.
Yeah, it doesn't, to me, it doesn't, I don't feel, I'm
You know,
not feeling
this-
much when I see the pictures.
Yeah, I think this is one of those that the consistency of the theme and the lighting should keep the same, either horizontal or vertical, loose or tight, should be kept the same so that the message come across easier. And you know, I don't know, I didn't get it. Some of the photos are nice, but some of them just, I feel like just randomly throw in there. So it is out for me.
Okay, it is out. All right, she's going to refresh and we're going to see how many we've left you all with. 900. No.
Yeah. We'll stay until next month.
Oh, you have a few. One.
Oof.
Why is that one in? It doesn't have a star on it.
Oh, I think we
That one
decided to
should
keep that
be
one,
in
didn't
there,
we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Okay, so it does have a star on it now. All right, hit a refresh and let's see what we're at with the one. You guys got a
Okay.
good bunch to go through.
Mm.
Count that for me, Sarah, if you wouldn't mind, or
It should be 10. Project.
10. Y'all are screwed. No, okay, so um, all right, we can look at them this way. Is that good to do again
Yeah.
without having to go through one by one? So let's do it here and we'll go and then we'll decide, we'll see if we can kill any. Sorry, or it doesn't rise to the top.
You know, I like the message on this one. I like the theme and the cohesiveness of it. But in terms of visuals and execution, I feel like this one is somewhat lack that kind of standards. So it's out for me.
I don't like this series. But yeah, I'll keep it in. But I don't think it's gonna rise to the top. I like that it's kind of just straight, and it's an interesting topic.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right, I got 1 and 1. Are we keeping it in, Kimberly and D? Sorry.
I'll keep it in
Yeah, I'll keep it in for now.
Okay, we'll go to the next
for
one.
now.
I like the way that you can see all
Compare.
the different places that people are living. I like that. You know, it's nice. Okay, oh yeah, this one. Okay, that's nice.
See, I like this one too, but
It doesn't hit you in the gut, like, yeah, it's not.
yeah, it's missing something. It's missing one, like what Tay was saying, it's want more.
Mhm.
And the first two felt like their the portrait style was the same with this background. And then all of a sudden, I guess the photographer tried to change their mind and switched up the style. But so they didn't go into it with like intention and like plan. I don't know, we don't all have that luxury because I know how that struggle is. But I don't know. I feel like it could be, it should, considering that the way the photographer photographed, the lighting that they used, that it would have been done better or more thought out. But I
Out for
still
me.
like it.
Some beautiful pictures, but I think the photographer needed more and needed to work it out further.
Yeah.
It should still go working on it. I think
Yeah.
it's a good project.
Yeah. I agree. So it would be out for me too.
We have 2 outs,
It's an out for me too.
3 outs. We're done.
I think we all
Yeah.
agree this is in.
Oh, this is definite for me.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Okay, keep that one in.
that's the one for me.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, I say out for this one too. I see the photographer's intentions. I just feel like they need to continue to work on it. A lot of these photos, again, they should not be vertical. It should be horizontal. We need a little bit of the background. Need it where they are.
Yeah. And maybe it's just, more experience. That first picture, that was pretty, I don't know, something about it. I like that.
That first picture does go hard. It's
Yeah.
nice.
great shot.
You don't want to
Yeah.
see it wide.
So that's amazing. So I'm glad that at least they put their first strongest images first. But yeah, it's missing something. It's not really that there. And then some of the photographs are not executed very well, and the crops are very strange.
Mhm.
I like the picture with the headlamps too. Almost reminds me a little bit of Lewis Hine or something.
Yeah, and then him going into the mines and taking, or she, excuse me, I keep saying him, she
Mhm.
going into the mines, or they,
Mm.
is pretty powerful too, and difficult
Mhm.
to try to photograph probably, but just maybe work on the idea some more and flesh it out if you have the opportunity.
Mhm.
All right, I'm hearing this is an out. That's correct?
Out. Mhm.
Okay.
Out.
This is another one, like that first image is great. And then seeing the families and seeing where they live and then them being displaced. But I don't get a sense of that, I guess. But it's portraits, so I don't know.
It's close, but
Yeah.
to me, it's an out. There's a few really powerful images that really come together. But,
Hmm.
mm.
And then is
I'm
the
hearing-
number 1, number 4, those is that the same guy?
Oh yeah, it's like the same guy with the same hat and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the interior shot at the table. Actually,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It's some beautiful pictures. But,
Hmm.
mm-mm.
I'm hearing this is an out.
Now,
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
this.
Mm.
It's powerful to me, I would say. And
Yeah, agree.
you know, the resilience, like them saying this is my home even though it has crumbled to dust. Where am I going to go? And then the family, you can feel the family connections in these portraits.
Mhm.
I think I feel like I feel so much when I look at these pictures of like I want to know more about their story.
Mhm.
But just seeing the devastation all around them, and then just their body language too. It's a mix of feelings and emotions.
All right, this one's in. We'll go to the next one.
This is an out for me. It's just the consistency and the quality of work is not there.
It's almost.
Out. Mhm.
They got the migrant mother. They got
It's
a little
real
bit of
quirky.
everything.
That first photo, it just was not doing it for me.
Mhm.
Why do they like? Sometimes people choose their photo choices. The order is interesting. And you have people living in a small home. You have the lady with the dogs, but then why is the lady with the face mask pulling down? Like I don't get that. If
Yeah.
yeah, it's just if you're not gonna go traditional portrait, don't just throw it in there. You know.
Yeah, I like kind of like there's like a number of kind of interesting images, but
Yeah.
man, it's just really not put together. I think the edit. I think it'd be interesting to see the photographer because they've been working for a couple of years. I think maybe they need an editor, some help editing.
Yes, they should have stopped to ask
Mhm.
someone to help them with this,
Mhm.
because then maybe it would have placed somewhere.
All right, so this is an out. We will go on.
Mhm.
This is an out for me too now.
Yeah.
It's just too many pictures just look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
A consensus on the out. I've got 2 outs.
It's out.
Yeah, out. Yeah.
Okay, good. Next.
And
That's an end.
And
This is the end for me.
yeah,
Okay, this one is in.
this is in for me too.
I agree. We can leave that in.
Okay, this is an in, and we'll have more discussion as we get to.
Yeah. Did we get rid of it?
Nothing.
It's cold in here. I'm cold.
That's how I feel. Like I'm like, can I wrap up in my blanket?
I would.
But it's being recorded, so I don't want them to see me like all wrapped up like damn.
Okay.
Oh.
Look, I do not care. I'm cold. I never go in this room. It's cold in here.
Blanket. See, I was gonna get a whole comforter.
All right, so you've knocked it down to 5,
Great.
which means we have to get rid of 1, which is
So
fine.
we have to get rid of one, huh?
Yep.
The Afghan for me. Is that in Afghan? They were in Afghan, right? That story though is so deep, but also the I don't know. Well,
There's
maybe
just some really strong images in there.
Mhm.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. You know
And to
what?
be honest with you, I like the Black gun ownership story, but those images are,
They not there. Okay, I'm gonna roll with y'all on that.
they're not really popping. It's like, okay, I get it, I understand,
Mhm.
but the execution could have been way better. And it makes me sad to say that because it's such an important story and I like it. But unfortunately, it's just
We
not.
see the Black gun owner story and the Afghanistan story again, one by one, because
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I like that. I like this is just a straighter approach. I like this. I like that image.
The
I like that.
backyard with the fence. And
Yeah,
like,
I like the real sense of
is it in
place.
focus? Like all I see is like soft.
I like that you get a sense of place with it, and it
Yeah,
just a
this
real.
I think this story is to me got the most powerful thread and the message, but the execution, I just don't get it.
Oh, I
I
get
just,
it. He's used
you
the
know,
old camera. He's used the old camera, and this focus is not there. So he's trying to create like a stylized, like older, like nostalgic kind of film style to it. And so that's thought out. That's like
no,
it's
no,
purposeful.
that wasn't my thinking at all. I'm just think about the, the overall and the compositions, and it just to me, everything is well thought out, but the way the photograph, uh, I mean the artistic part of the photograph is not what I don't like about it, but
The way
I like the
shot it,
thread.
the way they
Yeah.
shot it straightforward, and or
Mm.
the way that it's like vertical, or it's very straight on. Is that what you're saying?
No, it just to me, from the my perspective, it's I don't like things running across people's heads, or you're looking at it. That's what bothered me. You know,
Oh.
it's that's what bothered me. It's just so much distraction to the point that it becomes so much like amateurish to me,
The destruction of, I'm sorry.
of the background.
Okay.
Yeah, it to me it's I love the message, I love the thread, I mean it's everything is great, the way they posing the person, which is consistency, there's no question about it. It's just the background is what killed me. It's that from that perspective, it just everything is so wonderful, and I think just by pulling the subject a little further or a little closer in should eliminate some of these distraction. One of my thing is that I hate telephone poles, fans, thing that running out people's heads. That's what I don't like about that. This particular series is that. But I love anything else. I love the message. I just this is to me one of the 2 story
Okay.
or 3 story that got the best thread to it. The message. It's
Gotta go.
So are we in or out?
I vote in.
yeah. I think it's still worth to keep it in.
Okay.
And
All right, we're keeping it in.
Yeah, I think that the thing that I don't like, the thing that I found challenging is some of the tilt or the shift in certain photographs was unnecessary. I don't even know why it was inconsistent. But I like that you could see where they're living, their environment, and it's just real straight. I'm not totally convinced of why they had them hold the guns out to the side. That's a little like, I don't know if that
Yeah.
means something, but found that kind of weird. I'd like the ones where the gun is almost incidental.
Mm.
To me. But I like this. I think the series is interesting.
Yeah.
It's close. I think it's, yeah,
So the other one we were going to look at was
the Afghan women, I think.
The first picture is so beautiful.
It's so
Mm.
poetic, this series.
Yeah, okay.
And so when you said, John, about them being stuck in the house, they can't go out.
Yeah, I don't like the one like this one. I find that really like the ones that I feel work the best are the ones where you're seeing the environment of their home and that this is their world.
Well, this one
when you-
works. I like this one.
Yeah, like these work as images, but I think they're the ones that affect me most are this one, like where you're like this one or this is just like
Yeah.
the 4 or 5 that are just straight where you're like too close. It really doesn't. I think they didn't quite decide like this, really. Like that's your world. And you see all the details and that's your world. I find it less compelling with these other ones that are like, I think they were trying to, that's, to me, that's like, and it's a beautiful home, but that's, you know what I mean? Whereas the other ones to me fell down.
You
on
know,
the series.
I do agree with what John, what your assessment to that is that I would prefer, like in the way you said it, to keep the same feelings, the same perspective, the same, so that way you got the sense of entrapment. You know, you can't go outside, you've been held hostage in your own home, and that's, you know, some of these photographs do have that kind of feel, but some other ones sort of like almost like I don't know, it could be that there is no other option for the photographer to approach, but I do agree with John in that sense, is that there are a few images do not kind of gel together to convey that message. But I do love some of the photograph and the message. I do like this series too.
Maybe they're looking, the tighter ones are looking at to tie together, but emotion versus environment. You know, like if you notice the tighter ones, there's more, you know, that one lady, she looks upset and concerned, and then the other one looks the same, but in a different way. And maybe that's what the photographer was thinking, like to tie it together, the reason why you have the tighter ones and you don't get to see the environment. But I do agree that the more successful portraits, or when you really can't necessarily see their faces. And that's interesting.
I think there's like the one that you could see half her face, the second one on the second row does it successfully. You could still see as part of her face. But you feel, you know, you get a sense of this is your world. I'd like to see more of that. And I feel like it's almost like sometimes we do work and we feel like we have to, like if you work for a newspaper or news organization, you feel like you have to deliver a certain type of image for the page or for the editor. But there was something that the photographer was seeing that was deep here, and it's almost diminished by, to me, it's diminished by those other images to some extent.
So can we go back to the grid of all of them, so to see, so which one should we are you all going to remove?
Right now we got 5, so we need to remove 1, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I feel like the 3 in the middle are like the 3 strongest ones. Like definitely the rape story to me is number 1. Just to get that access, like that's, you know, that's a lot, you know, for people to trust you and go back. And then the story is very well thought out, like it's perfect lighting. it's black and white, which I just have a weakness for black and white. But it's executed very well. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that Afghan story, if they didn't have like two of those weaker images, then I would be all for it. And John, you put up a very good point with the guns, because I was thinking that, I was like, why are they pointing these damn guns to the side? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why?
The photographer told him to do it.
I mean, yeah, that, like, why? You know, it's just, it's weird. But I do like the story, and I love the colors. I love the cropping in that one. I love that they used a vintage style. I don't know. It's up in the air. I'm a ride with y'all on this one. Just as long as we keep the middle three in, I'm good.
Yeah. My favorite, my top two is the nursing or the ER, and then the sexual abuse. Those are my two favorites. And I do like the guns, which is, I love the thread, I love the message. So, and those are my top threes, even though I said that I didn't like certain aspect of it, but the message is so strong, and the thread is so wonderful. So those are my
Sarah,
top.
put a 5-star on the second and the fourth one, so that we know we don't have to discuss that right now.
We got it. I think I would do the one that I would like to remove is the Haiti one, and because of the access of, and because of some of the beautiful images of the story of the Afghans, we've got a guest editor. We got a guest editor.
Hi there.
Hold on, let me put on. Hold on.
Ready.
Hello, say hi.
No.
Yeah, I think for me, the four that I like are the ones in Haiti. To me, is not quite as dynamic. It's strong, but I think the Afghan one, like, there's just a few, there's like 4 or 5 images in there that just are just like, I haven't seen before, and are gorgeous. And I like the gun owners. I like to me, it's the sexual assault, the doctors and nurses, gun owners, honorable mention of Afghan, maybe something like that. But I can be convinced to mix that one up.
All right. What else are we thinking? There's no consensus yet after the two that we have as the 5 stars.
Can I see the Haiti, just all the photos, like a contact sheet?
My only thing is I was in Haiti 3 times, 3 distinct times with very different contexts in the aftermath of the 2010 earthquake. And there's, this captures part of the resilience, but I feel like it's missing just a little bit of the spirit of what I saw. And that's just me. But they're very strong. I just feel like the other ones are just that much stronger. The other series.
Thoughts on the others that disagree with John? Back to the list.
I can live with that. My favorites are in there. That's I'm happy.
I would say, if we're gonna take out anything, I don't know. I like the guns though. I feel like that's a very important
Oh,
story.
keep the gun in there. Keep the gun in there.
Okay. Yeah. I'm a ride with the group on this one, y'all.
All right, group, let's hear it. So I mean, you don't have to keep more than 3. So if you killed 2, but it doesn't look like we're going there. All right, so we still have 2. We need 2 more. So we need to at least get rid of 1. We'll have to decide then on first and second, but we'll do that after we've narrowed it down.
Maybe re-looking at the Haiti story again, when I first saw it, it did strike me because of the black and white, and then just realizing that they were sitting in front of the ruins of their homes and then the connections between the families. But then it's like, it's kind of the same thing as the gun ownership in some ways, right? It's just very straightforward pictures of people. Yeah, I wouldn't be angry if the Haiti one ended up going and then we just went with the gun ownership as either second or third, and then the Afghan women as honorable mention.
All right, if we look at that direction, does anybody have a problem with that direction?
Mm-mm.
That we're killing Haiti?
Yes.
Okay, let's get rid of Haiti. All right. So what you're down, let's go to this way. Between 1 and 2, would it be the sexual assault or the medicine and doctors? That's so strange. Or the doctors and nurses.
Sexual assault for sure.
Yeah, both of those stories are so difficult to approach, but I have to give an edge to the sexual assault because of the well thought out, and you're able to convince these subject to let you take it to the scene of the actual. To me is the trust level. It's just tremendous, and it's a multiple locations, whereas the doctor and nurses, it just restricted in one hospital, or in this case, it could be in one floor. So the difficulty of it, I really love the sexual assault stories and the complexity and the way the photographer executed. And to me, that is my number 1 choice. And then doctor and nurse is number 2.
Is there a general consensus on that?
Mm-hmm.
On 1 and 2. Okay, so we're doing 5 and 4. All right, so now we're up to between gun owners and Afghan.
Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that. That's fine.
Well, which one's going to be your honorable mention, judges? Or better yet, which one will be your 3rd place, judges?
I even though I talk about some of the aspect of it, I still love the guns. It got a thread that I really love, and the theme, even though I do agree with some of the images of why the gun pointing into the grass, and instead of but I do love that message and the thread, and then the sense of place, like John said, it gives you a sense of place too. And then for that, I love the content of it.
Yeah, it shows the photographer's style, like, the uniqueness of their work. So I don't mind giving them 3rd place.
So we're looking now at 3rd for the guns and honorable mention for the Afghan women. Does that sound right to you all?
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
let's lunch.